Hey guys, it's your boy Slipcover Steve, and I'm here at Barnes & Noble. We're not going to talk about these dusty, dorky DVDs, but we are going to talk about Friday the 13th by Arrow Video, the Platinum Dunes Classic. This is so far my boutique release of the year. Finally, that all-star Platinum Dunes movie is getting the boutique treatment with that delicious, beautiful slipcover. It is very out of print, and going for major cash already online. It's going to be probably worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars by the year's end. If you see it in store, run. Do not walk, run to grab it. You just saw me pull by The Flash. The Flash is a pretty sick movie. Definitely, probably the best Batman movie with Michael Keaton. I didn't really care for the old ones from the 80s. I don't recommend them, but The Flash, that's an easy recommendation. Finally, like a movie like that, he could actually not be embarrassed about saying he played Batman in. Don't recommend Steelbooks either. That's The Running Man. But I will say The Evil Dead, that is the remake from released by Shout Factory, has a beautiful slipcover. Excellent movie. Best Evil Dead picture by far. I think there were only a couple before that. It was Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and then there was Evil Dead Rise, which Evil Dead Rise also excellent. I just saw that Army of Darkness DVD. No point watching that. I think it's just some old-timey movie set in the medieval days, kind of depicting some historical event. Do not recommend. Trick or Treat, that's an okay movie. Pretty sick slipcover. Worth it for the slipcover. But if you could only pick up one, definitely pick up Friday the 13th, because that's actually a movie people care about for sure. That's a classic. We got that Nightmare on Elm Street, the 4K. That is very hard to find. I believe the 4K of that is pretty unavailable with the slip, so you definitely want to pick that up. Megan's a sick one. I just passed by that if you haven't seen Megan. Last House on the Left, this is an excellent movie. Unfortunately, that's just the Blu-ray. We don't pick up Blu-rays here. And that was the 90s Frankenstein movie starring Robert De Niro and directed by Mary Shelley. I would definitely recommend checking that one out. Ring on 4K. The first Ring's honestly not that good. Ring 2 is a better movie, but I would say the best one is Rings. If you are interested in the Ring franchise, just pick up the Ring box set from Shout Factory. It has all 3 movies, so that way you can kind of ignore the first one and see the superior sequels. Chronicles of Riddick. Speaking of superior sequels, that is the best of the Riddick movies by far. That's like, if it were a book, people would call it a page turner, because that's one that you cannot keep your eyes off of. The other movies are not nearly as good as that one. I wish they were more like the Chronicles of Riddick, because that's a great movie. So we're going to move on down. As you can see, they're still having their spooky movie sale, though I don't know why they'd put an old-timey movie like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari here. That movie is ancient and probably just should be in a museum for people to pretend like they care about, because in real life, no one's going to watch that movie. It's not relevant anymore. And again, we don't talk about DVDs on this channel. The only thing I mention about DVDs is, they do produce disc rot, and disc rot can spread through your entire collection and ruin all of your investments. So don't buy DVDs. Just stay away. Even new ones are dangerous. Here we are flipping through some Marvel movies. Ooh, Borderlands. If you haven't seen this, Eli Roth is a master filmmaker, and he really showed he could produce non-horror movies with that one. Absolutely recommend watching Borderlands. Great video game adaptation. I don't understand this. Are we trying to fill a bookshelf or a movie shelf? Because again, I'm a movie collector, not a book collector. So why make a Blu-ray inside of a bookcase? It just kind of boggles the mind, just a waste of time. They do have this on 4K. They did not have the first one. Again, that's kind of the silly version. I wouldn't recommend picking those up. It is nice to see Barnes & Noble finally just kind of selling slipcovers by themselves, though. I might end up picking that up on my way out, because that's a slipcover I wouldn't mind having in the collection. Movie itself ain't too bad, but that slipcover, that's something else. Again, they've got another copy of that. I don't see the Barbarian, though. They have Deadpool and Wolverine just on Blu-ray, no 4K of the slip. Desperado, this is kind of what I call the idiot edition. There's a superior version to this movie. I'll show you in a minute. You definitely don't want to get stuck with that, movie, just that release. It's just not the one. I don't even know how to put it. But honestly, like, the horror section here is kind of where most of our concentration is. That's where a lot of the investment is. That's where a lot of the wealth is accumulated. Some of these other movies, yeah, sometimes they can be worth major cash, but not always. Here's that old man movie, Horizon. So look at this. We got all this crap. Indiana Jones. Like, no one even cares about that brand anymore. That's why that new movie tanked, because it's just like, it's old, it's out of date. People that like it are out of touch. That's not the content we're looking for. Not a lot of excitement here. I do like these slips. They've got plenty of slip-covered movies. 4Ks, of course. Oh, here we go. This is the Desperado you want. You want the Mexican trilogy here, or Mexico trilogy. I don't know if these movies are any good, but again, like, it's something you're going to want on your shelf to look like a serious collector. So definitely add that to your cart. Speaking of which, it's kind of BS that, Barnes & Noble still doesn't have shopping carts. Like, again, how am I supposed to come back here as a serious physical media collector and just, like, stock up? They've got all these sales going on right now. I got a lot of things I want to add to my collection, but, like, they just kind of make it hard for you to do that. What am I supposed to do, just carry it all? That's stupid. That's ignorant. Have a cart ready. Now, this is another excellent release. Platinum Dunes Classics, Clash of the Titans, and Wrath of the Titans in one beautiful 4K set. Absolutely recommend that. Great, Halloween cleanser, as I would call it. But excellent movies. Very, very intense. Very, very cool. And the rest were DVDs. We're not talking about DVDs. But here's the main reason we're here, the Criterion Collection. And boy almighty, talk about just, like, taking the air out of the room. Like, you go from that, like, looking at Arrow releases, and, they put out, like, cool, relevant, awesome stuff, like the Friday the 13th remake, and then you come here, and you're like, oh, what do I got here? A bunch of foreign films, a bunch of, like, artsy-fartsy crap, and I'm just like, okay, all right, guys, not even a cool slipcover. Like, I don't even know what to say about half of these movies. I haven't heard of half of these movies. I'm like a serious collector and investor. Also, if you're going to have a big sale, don't you think you're going to stock up on these? What's with all this empty space? Am I just supposed to use my imagination? Why not at least spread these out so I can pretend there's more releases here than there are? Because all I'm seeing is that Criterion puts out a lot of nothing. Because I doubt that they're flying off the shelf. I doubt that these are, from big sales. I think that this is just the fact they don't do. Would you consider this a slipcover? It's kind of a slipcover. I'd call that a slipcover. Might be worth picking up for the slip. But again, it's more like a box set style slipcover, so it's kind of like not really a slipcover. I don't understand why, like, Criterion, like, look at this bicycle movie. They advertise it black and white right on the front, like a black and white image. Again, like, if they're trying to get cool, hip collectors, why carry, like, a black and white movie? And at least if it is black and white, at least try and trick me. At least make me think it's going to be, like, some modern, very cool, very colorful movie. But instead, you're just like, no, it's some lifeless garbage. And here's this David Lynch crap. I cannot stand David Lynch. That is a guy whose head is up his own butt. And then you got furries back there. I'm assuming that's, like, probably a documentary. If Criterion loves to put out documentaries, probably about the furry community. Godzilla, I can't recommend picking that up. I'm pretty sure that just got a 4K release. Again, I don't even understand, like, once it has a 4K, wouldn't you, like, not carry the Blu-ray anymore? Because, again, that's what everyone's going to gravitate to. That's what collectors do. We don't just go for this old, out-of-date release. Once the 4K hits, we're done. And you'd have to be a freak to pick up Freaks. I'm just going to say that. That is an ancient movie. I'm pretty sure it's from, like, the 20s. And I don't want that election crap. Again, I get enough, like, political text sent to my phone, so why do I need to watch a movie about an election? I know it's election season, and some people like to celebrate holidays and stuff with, like, movies, and because we have one of these elections every year, but, like, come on, guys. I'm not that kind of guy. Halloween, Christmas, sure. Am I going to watch the Thanksgiving horror movie on Thanksgiving? Yes. But am I going to watch an election movie around the election? No. You need to get real. I don't even know, like, Blood Simple. Like, they don't have any, like, new movies. Like Blue Velvet, more David Lynch crap. More pretentious nonsense. Oh, and then we got Citizen Kane here. That is that is a movie that is just asking to be remade. And I keep pondering, like, who could make this movie, this old, out-of-date concept, and make it relevant for, our generation, people our age, people that want to see something cool, something, and again, it's just like, I know people in their minds are probably like, all right, Steve, you're going to say Rob Zombie, you're going to say, Damien Leone, someone like that. No, those are horror guys. That's not really a horror movie. Obviously, you want someone who can tackle kind of like a more real, concept, a more emotional concept, because it is like going to be a drama, in its heart and soul. And clearly that's going to be someone like J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams, who is a masterclass filmmaker, has literally done no franchise wrong. He made people actually care about that ancient Star Trek brand. He brought Star Wars back to the forefront and made it relevant again. This is a guy who could probably tackle Citizen Kane and make a modern concept and make it a movie that's more about, than just like some weirdo in charge of a newspaper company, because that's a stupid concept. Newspapers, no one even reads that stuff now. You need to make it something cool, like maybe like, he's in charge of like Google or like a big website, or, like maybe he's like a Steve Jobs type and he like invented a phone. That's kind of something I'm thinking of. That's something people would actually want to see. Just past farting Scorsese there, the Marvel hater. Doesn't even know good movies. Then we've got Menace Society 2. I don't think Criterion has put out Menace Society 1, so if you have seen it and you think it's worth picking up, let me know. Maybe a boutique put it out that actually respects slipcovers, so it's probably got the better release. And I'm going to tell you that Jabberwocky movie has no connection to the Tim Burton classic Alice in Wonderland or Alice Through the Looking Glass. It is some old garbage movie, so buyer beware, you are in for a bad purchase. And I know it's old news. I know, like, as like a film community, we've kind of realized that Martin Scorsese, is like kind of irrelevant, out of touch, and doesn't really know what the movie audience wants, and that's why all of his movies have tanked and not been very well liked or good. But, like, what do you guys think about his comments about Marvel movies not being real cinema? Do you think that's fair? Do you think that that's, like, a good thing? No, obviously it's bad, stupid. This is a rhetorical question. We all know he's an idiot, and he hasn't made a good movie in his entire life. He wishes that he had made, something like Iron Man 2 or, Ant-Man 3, anything on those levels. He is just jealous. And that's how people are, They get jealous when they realize that they aren't that good or talented. And honestly, that's probably the case with a lot of these Criterion boys, because there's a lot of just stuff that no one really wants here. I don't even know. Like, you got Silence of the Lambs here. I don't know why anyone would pick up that release now when you can get the Kino Lorber release, with like a slipcover and a 4K disc. Kind of just makes this whole Criterion release just not worth it. It's just not a movie anyone's gonna be like, yeah, I need to pick that up, add that to the Criterion collection. No, they're going to pick up the Kino Lorber release. And even then, they're probably not going to pick it up there, because why would anyone pick that up when, they can get Hannibal Rising, which is a much better movie, or maybe like they get Red Dragon, Those are like significantly better movies than Silence of the Lambs. I'm just saying what we're all thinking, and I think there is no doubt in my mind that you all agree with me out there. I'm always kind of surprised that like people get like super excited about the Seven Samurai movie. The only thing it accomplishes is putting you to sleep, because it's like 800 years long and it's black and white, obviously due for a remake. I'd heard, rumors that like they were going to remake into like a Star Wars movie at some time, directed by Zack Snyder, and that would have been so much better. Again, like, modernization is key, and he probably would have cut all the fat out of the movie, and it would have just been like one good action scene after another. And again, I think that's just what people want. A Parasite movie, I was excited about that. People were talking it up. And then like I'm watching it and I'm like, this isn't even in English. Why is this in theaters? Why are people caring about this movie? And then I realized, it's just like probably like one or two people online convincing that, people actually watched this movie, liked the movie. I never heard anyone talk about the movie once it was, out of the Oscar buzz. I'm pretty sure the Academy was paid off to talk about that movie, probably by, like, the Chinese government that funded it. And, it's just invading American pop culture. Again, this is America. We make American movies. We do not make Chinese movies. Let's not pretend that they have any clout in our society, because, again, I don't want to have to pretend to understand what people are saying. I don't want to have to read a movie. Reading a movie is really dumb. It's really stupid. It's a waste of our time. If I wanted to read, I'd read a book. And dear God, everyone knows I would not read a book, and you wouldn't read a book either. Books are out of date. That is something from the horse and buggy times. We live in the modern era. Let's talk about modern things. And again, Blu-ray and 4K are modern technology. Slipcovers are a modern invention. Finally, we're here where we actually want to be, the 4K section. This is the cream of the crop of the crap of Criterion. It makes basically all those other versions obsolete. Again, why pick up Citizen Kane on Blu-ray when you could pick up the 4K? Both look the same on your shelf, but you are going to know in the back of your mind you have the inferior version. And here we go. We got Gumo. And I will be frank with you, I will not be buying this movie. I've already had a discussion with the cat. We agree that movie probably should be outlawed. I'm pretty sure the whole movie is just about some weird freak kid going around killing cats. And that's the whole movie. It sounds stupid, and it just sounds like it shouldn't be allowed. We should not endorse people killing cats. Cats are very good. Cats are, keeping our collection safe. They're keeping rats out of homes. They're our friends. We don't need to kill them. And then we got WALL-E. That is a Disney movie. Not one of the better ones. Again, it's just, if you're going to put out an animated movie, Criterion, why don't you put out Shrek? Why don't you put out, the Emoji Movie, something people actually would be interested in? Instead, we get, the movie that follows a robot that, just says his name over and over again. Doesn't even have anything, poignant or impressive to say. A lot of pretentious crap. It's not really, it's kind of like the Blu-ray section of the Criterion, but it's condensed. But you're seeing a lot of duplicates. I don't think Gumo, I don't think that was on Blu-ray, so maybe that's a 4K only release. Maybe they're wising up and going, hey, no one's buying our Blu-rays if we put it out in 4K, so let's just put it out in 4K. But, it's just you had an opportunity, Criterion, when you put this stuff out. Hey, maybe include a slipcover, that Fear and Loathing in Vegas or whatever. Again, you put a slipcover on that movie, and I would actually buy it. But because it's slipless and has the same R as the Blu-ray, it's going to look the same on my shelf. I'm not going to pick it up. And this is cruel. This is the 4K section, but we have Blu-ray discs here. It's kind of misleading, don't you think? Just saying what we're all thinking. And then the Apu trilogy. I'm assuming this is some Simpson movie stuff. I haven't seen it. Tell me what you think down below. And then we've got a bunch of the same movie here. Apparently they really think people are going to be buying that up for the sale. Hate to tell them, I don't think that's the case. Beatles. No one cares about Beatles. They haven't been relevant since the 40s. I don't even think any of those people are alive anymore. If anyone can tell me if a single member's alive, I would be shocked. And as you can see over to the right, they've got Repo Man, the genetic opera. That's honestly, I don't like the sing-song movies, but that's a pretty good one. It's a sing-song movie for the horror crowd. So definitely would recommend checking that one out. And coming up here, you're going to see it in just a second. It's one of the last movies, is Shaft. That is actually the recent Shaft movie with Samuel L. Jackson, I believe. That movie was very funny, very good. Definitely recommend it. But that was my Barnes & Noble trip, my guys. Comment down below. Let me know if you're picking anything up during the sale.